Alrighty, so I guess as a preamble, I can also talk about a few other things that I'm working on. I think we got everything set up right. And I look like I just rolled out of bed, which I kind of did. I've been kind of wiped out. It's been a long day. Got a lot done. So, one of the things that I was working on today is my goal of looking into doing something with the year to make it feel like we've done more than we could have, given the quarantine and everything else involved. It feels like it's a year's worth of stuff needs to be jammed into a few months. I don't want it to be quite like that, but I do want to walk away from this year feeling like we've done something. I mean, we did stuff earlier in the year. We came up with story prompts inspired by previous pop culture works. I did some world building from my role-playing game stuff. I mean, it's not a complete write-off, but I do kind of feel like there's more that could be done. And one of the things that comes up around November is National Novel Writing Month. So you try to write a novel in a month, and that sort of thing has inspired some spin-offs. In the past, there used to be a script frenzy, which was write a 100-page novel or a script in a month, I believe. That is since defunct, but there have been other things that came along the way, and I was sort of trying to build a list of things to do, because I think it would be fun to do some of those kinds of things, get back into the idea of doing creative stuff. What are you doing now? So one of the aspects of this is October comes up. We have Inktober, which is doing ink drawings every day for a month. November is National Novel Writing Month. I was trying to think what I could do for December, but I remember December is when most people do Vlogmas, which is where you do vlogs every day for a month. So that's doable. And then there was something that at one point it looks like somebody did something in January that doesn't happen anymore. I might just pick it back up. Animations. I think what they were doing was an animation per day. I think setting up a more, I know we have bad experience with this, but I'm thinking potentially going forward that I might be able to facilitate that a little bit better with some of the software I may dabble with in the near future. So January might be Janimation. February, I feel like the thing that February best suits, there is a thing a day February or something, or maybe that's April, I can't remember. But the thing about February is it's the shortest month of the year. It has almost the same number of days in February as there are letters in the alphabet. So it's going to be 28 days. Monday the 1st could theoretically be the day. I mean, if we do it right, we could do it along the lines of the 48-hour film thing, where they propose a genre and each day is a different part of producing a film. But for this would be day one would be getting together and drawing from a hat to get the ideas that you'll be using. And then every day after that would be 26 days of letters, something themed about a letter. And then the 28th day would be the victory day. I kind of like the idea. And then I'm going through some of the other stuff. I want to do Script Frenzy again. Script writing sounds like it would be worthwhile to do again. There should be poems. And there used to be a project called Sophobomo, or some silly garbage like that. It's totally not the way you're supposed to do it. But it's a solo photo book month, where you publish a book of photographs that you produced that month. And of course, if you're going to do stuff like these, a month of painting and creating music, game jams. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need 1 or 2 more ideas. Oh, script writing is one thing. Maybe indie filmmaking. So we've got books, games, movies, music, art. It's not quite the same thing as what I did before. Oh, we could do recipes too. Or cooking of some kind. Product development? Nah, that's not really my thing. Video games, food. Health and fitness. So I think it would be fun to do like a challenge like that each month and invite people to participate. But in the meantime, let's get on to the subject of today's video. It's a super corny way of phrasing that. So what I did was I broke down a list of potential ideas for the game of sound decisions and play it by ear. I'm in the process of building a list of the actual monsters for the trivia one. And then I'm going to start working on scripting the Fabulists game and the Choice Tales. So for game of sound decisions, I feel like that's the one where we're going to do a pleasant sound and an unpleasant sound, and frame them so that the person listening essentially does a Bean Boozled. Pick a channel, see what you get. Now, it occurred to me as I was doing this that it's also possible that you could do this as a a pair of friends. You have two people, and you tell them, we've got two sounds coming up. One's pleasant and one's unpleasant. They both have to do with a given topic, which is, I think, the way I want to do it from here on out. It might be a little tricky to always get it quite right. But if somebody has a pair of earbuds, one of the earphones is going to play the pleasant and one's going to play the unpleasant. And so they can pause the audio and decide between them which one gets which earphone. One of them's always going to get the bad deal. And so I set up a group of ones here. So a fork and knife against a plate, that screechy sound that you sometimes get, that's one of them. But also refreshing drink being poured. So some ice in a glass and then the water being poured into it. Those would be the two sounds that you get to choose from. A glass of water being poured, or the scraping of a knife and a fork against the plate. Option at the next one in the batch would be, you ever inflate a balloon and you do that doom, doom, doom as you bounce on it? That would be one of them. And the other one would be a balloon popping. And then books in some way. So setting a book down on the table, opening it up, rifling the pages, opening up, and then turning a page. To me, that's a very pleasant sound. But if you're talking about the topic being books, one of the things that would set my teeth on edge is ripping pages out of a book. Oof, that would be a hard one for me. Another one would be maybe flame, and so or fire. One would be a crackling fire, and one would be a fire alarm. Baby, a baby laughing, a baby crying and screaming in a store. These are like, that's the first four and the first five ideas that I had come up. By the same token, the play it by ear, what is it you're hearing, would be a list of 5 sounds that I'm going to alter, and you have to figure out which of the 2 options I give you is what the sound is. So like an egg cracking, balloon inflating, water dripping into a glass, a door squeak, and lighting a match. If I alter each of those sounds and then come up with, based off of what it sounds like, what else it might be to confuse or mislead the listener, that I think works for the first one. I may do 1 or 2 of each of those per week, but I may also just do them once per month. Now the monstrous mystery, I think I'm roughly considering that as an option. And that is basically where I set up 2 stories. One's about a real historical, mythical, legendary, fabled monster, and one's something I make up. Which one is my made-up story? So far I've got like Wendigo, Jersey Devil, maybe El Chupacabra. I could do something like a see, some of them are so just absurdly silly. When you look at the history of mythical monsters, like, they involve gods and magic and things like that, and it's a little bit harder to pass those off these days. But I should be able to come up with a few. Yeah, that's mostly going to be Halloween time stuff. And I could just as I mentioned last time, I could follow up the once a week storytelling with trivia about the monsters. Later in the week. So like a Monday or a Tuesday and a Thursday or Friday. Start the week and end the week with the monster story. If I did something like Wendigo, I would do questions about the Wendigo on Friday. And then that just really, for the most part, leaves picking a few more monsters, making up a few monsters. I may have to come up with a second list for each of the other games. I mean, they each have 5 options right now. But then I got to script out a Choice Tales and Fabulous Game. I think those are definitely going to be 2 a month max. Wow. It suddenly feels super warm in here. So that's really mostly what I've been playing with right now. I did want to go back and see if I made a choice on no, that's something else. So I do know that I had my so SoundCloud, Podbean, Spreaker was the one I was doing. What did I call that one? Oh, I didn't name it yet, did I? Okay, yeah, I haven't put a name to it yet. So I do think I'm probably going to end up going with the Monstrous Mysteries or something like that. It's not like I can't just change it later on when I make a decision on doing something else. I was playing around with doing something along the lines of a pun where I was going to do myth adventures or something like that. I just had this sudden worry that people would assume I'm making fun of speech impediments or something, and I'm like, I don't need that to be a problem going out the gate. Maybe it's just me being paranoid beforehand. I don't know. But I considered a couple options for other names. But I think the Monstrous Mystery is probably just the easiest way to go. Because I don't necessarily think I'm going to do everything mythical, but most of them may involve monsters, at least for October. Ooh, Headless Horseman might be worth doing. Might be a little too on the nose. People would guess that pretty quickly around. Headless Horseman. So that's theoretically 4 for the month. So 1 per week. What does October look like? So if we did them Fridays or Saturdays. If we did them every Saturday, we go 3rd, 10, 17, 24, and then Halloween would be a special one. I could do a series of ghost stories. Which ones were based on real hauntings and which ones are made up by me. Real hauntings. And I mean real in a loose sense. And I think I'm probably going to swap out El Chupacabra and the Headless Horseman. I think El Chupacabra may be doable. Because I think the goal for each of these is to retell them in a more modern context. And I do think that, like, if you're telling the story without the name, like Wendigo, people know. El Chupacabra, people know. Headless Horseman, people know. The Jersey Devil, people may know. But if you're just telling the story of the things happening, the spooky things happening off to the side. The story of the spooky things that are happening without ever giving it a name. And then you ask them which of these stories is based on a real monster. Which is based on stories that have been told already, and which ones were made just for you. So that's sort of the idea, I think, going forward. And if you have any ideas for other projects that we could do for the project a month project, I guess I don't know what else to call that. The monthly project plan. Ooh. Yeah, I do think the February alphabet thing might be kind of fun. I'll have to think about it a little bit more, but I'll do some juggling around to see where things fit. And I think that's kind of all I got to say tonight. It's a short one tonight, I think. C'est la vie. I guess I will catch you. What's today? Thursday? Well, it's technically Friday now, but I guess I'll catch you on Sunday. Until then, thanks for watching. Take care and have a good night.